Okay. Part 5, from his partner to his prey. So, Tyler gets this phone call and he's frantic. He doesn't know what's going on. He calls me. I'm walking to work. I get this call from Tyler. He freaking out. I stop, turn around, go back to the apartment. I get back to the apartment. Tyler tells me somebody called. Oh my gosh. They was on the phone talking about they know who I am. I ain't supposed to be over here. I better be gone when they get here. They the police. Woo, woo, woo. I'm like, huh? I'm confused. He confused. We don't know what's going on. We don't know if this is real, if this is a prank. We don't know what the deal is. We just know what was said, and we just know we need to do something. So we talk. We figure out that it's best for him to just go back and stay with his brother in the next building, and for me to go stay with my cousin. So that's what we did. My cousin didn't stay too far away from the school, so it was like a win-win type of situation. So I moved with my cousin, and I started working at a local fast food restaurant. One day, probably about a couple weeks after I had got there to my cousin's house, me and Tyler had been talking, and we were missing each other. We wanted to see each other. So he was like, come see me. He didn't have a car at the time. His car was messed up. It had actually pretty much, went on out of commission because it was already struggling when he got it. So he didn't have a way to come see me. I didn't have a car at the time. But my cousin, who I was staying with, she had 4 girls. And 3 of the girls were close to my age. So I talked to one of them and asked her if she would take me up to the school. She was like, cool. So I went up there, got to see Tyler, and came back. A couple weeks after that, the same cousin that took me up to see Tyler was like, hey, I need your help. I need you to go to the store with me because, you know what I'm saying, I think I might have, slipped up. So we go to the store, and we come back. We forget that we leave the bag on the counter that we got from the store. Well, her parents find it, my cousins, and they like, who's this? So with me being the oldest, I say it's mine because it's pregnancy test. And I don't want them thinking no kind of way about about their daughters. And I'm the oldest. So automatically it's mine, And they was like, okay, well, since it's yours, we need the results in 48 hours. Now, mind you, I didn't have no reason to think that I was pregnant. No missed periods, no swollen nipples, no nausea, no morning sickness, none of that. No reason to think that I was pregnant whatsoever. So, in my mind, I'm just trying to help her out and trying to keep them out of trouble. So, I wait for them to go to work, and the next day, we take the pregnancy test. The cousin that initially wanted to take the test, I gave her one so she could take it to make sure she was good. And she was good. She wasn't pregnant. She was straight. I took the other one, you know what I'm saying, because they was like, we need to know, you know what I'm saying, what's going on. So I took the other one, and it came back positive. So, funny how that worked out. But, yeah, so it came back positive. I went to the doctor, confirmed, and I was 4 weeks pregnant. They was like, all right, well, you going to have to go back and stay with your mama. And at that time, me and my mom didn't really have a good relationship at all. And she also had another family member staying with her. And we didn't have a good relationship. So it was like basically going into an environment where I was going to be feeling like I was going to constantly butt heads with somebody because it was either going to be me and my mama or me and this other family member. So I was just frustrated by that whole idea. But I respected the fact that, you know, that was their wishes, that was their house, and that's what they wanted. So I called my mama. I told her that I was pregnant. I let her know that I was staying with them. And, you know, they told me I needed to leave. So she was like, all right, you can come back down here and, you know, you can have this other room. You know, she was going to talk to the other family member and see if they would be willing to switch with me because the room that they were in was the larger room. And since I was going to be there pregnant and possibly giving birth, you know, she wanted me to have a room with the more space. And she was going to give the other family member the other room, which had 2 beds in it, still a decent amount of space. It just was 2 separate beds instead of 1 bed, and it had I can't remember. I think it didn't have a dresser in there or something like that. But she didn't want to change rooms. So her and I, what I expected when I got over there, her and I constantly got into it. Now, again, I'm pregnant. I found out I was pregnant at 4 weeks, and it was like my body said, woo, now it's time to grow. And by the time I was 6 weeks, I was looking like I was 2.5, 3 months. So I was irritated by her. My hormones is apparently growing. I mean, you know, on a rampage. I'm showing fast. I'm going through it. I'm away from Tyler, and I'm just frustrated at this point. So my mom started to see what I was going through and started to be more, a bit more compassionate, and our relationship started to, you know, mend itself in a sense. And, you know, Tyler was a part of all of that because I was constantly calling him, constantly texting him, constantly keeping him in the loop about what was going on every day at the house. I was not keeping nothing away from him. Anything that happened, if she ate my grits, I was telling. So it was a constant, you know, update for him. So he knows what I'm going through, and he like, well, what you gonna do? Because he was getting tired of hearing me complain about it. So he like, we gotta figure something out. What you gonna do? You already starting the show. What you gonna do? So I went down and got on assistance, and they was like, well, you gotta join this work program. So I said, okay, I'll join the work program. Join the work program, try and get a job before I really start showing, because the people in the program was telling me, like, if you too big, they not gonna hire you, and then what you gonna do? So I'm telling Tyler, I'm freaking out. All this stuff still going on at the house, so I'm just like, really, I just need a job. I'm just like, okay, I just need something. Nothing is falling through. So I'm getting more and more irritated, more and more frustrated. I'm feeling helpless. I'm feeling like I'm about to be stuck in the system now. So I'm telling Tyler, and he like, well, try Job Corps. I contact Job Corps, and because I was already pregnant, I couldn't go. I told him that, and he was like, all right, well, the only other thing I know to do is to join the military. So Tyler joined the military. Part 6 coming up.